Okay, so this is a video that realistically is a long time in the making, but obviously a couple weeks ago I made a video about how I felt that Comicsgate was maybe losing sight of its vision. At the very least, it was becoming kind of I don't know, kind of a club. But whether that's true or not, it one undoubtedly positive thing about Comicsgate is that it has brought out a lot of creative talent and a lot of comics that, at least personally, I never would have seen otherwise. And now I've become aware of them, and I'm really enjoying them, and I'm really enjoying the process of seeing them come to life. And so there's a couple Indiegogos that I feel like could be doing a little bit better, or that are I feel like are undersubbed, or maybe people haven't taken a second look at. And there's a lot of Indiegogos and various crowdfunding campaigns out there right now. I've only really got a handful here that I think are kind of important, and I mean, some of them, they're not necessarily doing badly, but they could be using a little bit more love. And I'm going to start with the one that definitely needs the most love. Sporkman Goes to Japan. Obviously, I covered the original Sporkman conventions couple, geez, a long time ago at this point, I guess. But yeah, I really liked the Sporkman conventions. That's up on Comic Central right now, so it's not a crowdfunding or anything. It was a cute concept that was still, it managed to balance humor and seriousness, and I thought that was pretty impressive. And as you can see, this campaign has 9 days left, and it's could be doing better. I mean, a lot can happen in 9 days. I mean, this could easily get up to triple digits by then. But it is very unfortunate that this is such a underappreciated, seemingly, crowdfunding campaign right now. And one of the stretch goals that they've got is that there's a couple of not as well-known creators within Comicsgate that all kind of banded together here for this one. And if they manage to get up to 30,000 in the next week and 2 days, they actually get all of these comics right here: Wanpool, Red Ninja Momiji, the Ash Can for Jack Irons, and then a whole bunch of covers potentially. And that would be really cool for these guys. And Sporkman, I mean, they have a YouTube channel, and I don't think they're in like the Ethan Van Sciver live stream, Comicsgate live stream, very often, if ever, and that may be a big reason why they're falling or lagging behind some of the other ones. But definitely, if this one could get better and could get a little bit more love, that'd be a big deal. So this is definitely one to look out for. Sporkman Goes to Japan. Obviously, you saw some of the art, and yeah, this is. You can go watch my review of it, but this is the backstory behind this is pretty interesting. So that's definitely one to look at. Moving on, Lady Alchemy. When I first saw this, I kind of rolled my eyes. Martina Markota is somebody who works for Rebel Media, and she is a burlesque dancer who used to go by the name Lady Alchemy, or former burlesque dancer, I guess. When I first saw this, that the first significant female-led Comicsgate title starring a female character and largely created by a female, and she made it all about her, I'm not going to lie, I kind of roll my eyes at that. However, I don't really watch the Ethan Van Sciver live streams anymore. I don't really watch any live streams from anybody, Comicsgate or otherwise, anymore. But I happened to catch one where Miss Markota was on, and she was explaining what Lady Alchemy was. And it turns out that Martina, she was in the New York City burlesque scene, and for years and years she was a regular, member of it. You can find YouTube videos of her doing her act. And then the 2016 election happened, and all of the other dancers pretty much were all leftist progressive feminists who hated Trump. And Martina, who's I believe an immigrant from Eastern Europe or somewhere like that, she was, pro-Trump, and when she, confessed this to them, instead of them, confronting their prejudice and realizing the error of their ways, they they turned on her and basically kicked her out of the industry, and so she became an alternative media figure. And it talks here in the synopsis about her seeing demons, and according to Miss Markota, the demons are actually at least loosely based off of the performance art of Marina Abramovich, which if you know who that is, it's probably because of the Pizzagate scandal that broke last year. I don't really, I don't think Pizzagate is real, but the investigation into it revealed just how fundamentally weird a lot of our Washington elites really are. And Marina Abramovich was one of the central figures in showing just how weird these people are. Like I said, when I first saw it, I kind of rolled my eyes, but once she explained it, I warmed up to it. And as you can see, 20,000 by 500 backers, 11 days left in the campaign proper. That's not bad. Obviously, the original goal was 8,000, but it can always be doing better. The better that each one of these projects do, the better it looks on us as a community as a whole. Obviously, it's your money, and these things can be a little bit expensive, but definitely, I think this one looks, knowing that it's a semi-autobiographical thing, it actually makes it more interesting. So, yeah, I think this is one to look out for. This is one that I just ran across. I don't really know the full story behind this, but James Hudnall is a real comic book writer, been around for decades now. And this one's basically about a group of right-wing superheroes. And I know a lot of people kind of cringe at political books. How can you be a part of Comicsgate and support openly political books? Well, for one thing, how many right-wing superhero comics can you really think of off the top of your head? Probably not many. I really can't think of that many. So there's kind of a novelty to it, if nothing else, about a right-wing superhero group. Same with Fox Day's Alt Hero. But beyond that, you can see here, these covers look really cool. And interior arts looks like it's sort of a mix of digital and regular inking. This is from the Freedom Forge, which is like a group that Mike Miller was a part of as well. I think this one's a little bit more niche. My feeling about political comics is that as long as they're kind of upfront about it, then it's not really a big deal. But if they try to hide it, or they try to use well-established characters to make a point, or make a very partisan point, that's what rings false to me. And that's what SJW Marvel's been doing. But a completely independent comic, I really don't see the problem with that. So, but your mileage may vary on the overt politics of it. Next one, this is one you probably ought to know. Brutus the Badass. Brutus is the OC of Donald DeLay. Donald DeLay was a guy who expressed the most mild, tepid, neutral support of Comicsgate that you could possibly express. He just said, hey, I don't agree with everything that they say or everything that Diversity in Comics does, but I think that their basic message has some merit to it. And because of this, the entire industry pretty much turned their back on him. So this is a guy who, kind of put himself out there for this idea that comics should be fun, that they should be cool, that they should be over the top. And you can see here that, this guy makes Lobo look like a pussy. And, this looks pretty cool to me. And the fact that, it's kind of a different art style, but between just how over the top it looks and also knowing how Donald, really did kind of put himself out there, I think it makes it even better. So as you can see, the campaign proper is over, it raised $30,000, but I believe you can still get it on the Indiegogos store. Okay, moving on. So this is John De La Rosa's The Ember War. I believe Ember War is, it says it right there, Richard Fox's best-selling military science fiction epic. As you can see, campaign proper is already over, but this is another one where I believe, and I hope I'm not wrong, I believe you can still get the perks through the Indiegogo store. This is one, it just looks really cool. And John De La Rosa is somebody that's been, part of Comicsgate since the beginning. Some people don't like him, but this story looks like exactly the kind of thing that you're looking for, right? Science fiction, cool concept, and just all around looks like a really solid science fiction story in kind of the vein of like Starship Troopers and things like that. So this one to me looks really cool. And also you've got this pretty sick cover here by Bane co-creator Graham Nolan. So hey, how can you go wrong with that, right? Next one, Black and White by Art Thibert. Another one that's the proper campaign is over. Art is on Ethan Van Sciver's streams on a fairly regular basis, and much like Cyberfrog, this is Art returning to a property that he did in the 90s and is bringing back in a big way, and it like just the cover alone looks really cool. And once again, pretty sure this is another one where you can get it through the Indiegogo store. Just the way that it looks right here. I mean, you got kind of the Silver Sable looking girl here, and you've got, I'm not sure what that guy is, but you got him. And I've never read the old black and white, but I kind of want to after seeing a little bit of the preview art for this one, to be perfectly honest. So, yeah, got that right there. Another one, T-Bird and Throttle. I'll admit, I don't really know much about this one, but as you can see, it's only at 74% of its goal, but it's still got 6 days left. So hopefully we can get this number up. Josh Howard's another guy active on Twitter a lot, been active in this Comicsgate thing. And yeah, there's another one. It just looks, it just looks cool. It just looks fun. I mean, you can see right here, it's kind of got that Butch Hartman style, but probably not Butch Hartman's pretentiousness. Bam, yeah. So definitely another campaign to look out for. And then the last one I'm going to cover, because there's a bunch more, and you can go on Twitter and you can listen to Ethan Van Sciver's talking about it. But this one doesn't really need my help too much. I mean, $50,000 guy is Antonio Bryce on Ethan Van Sciver's streams a lot, that sort of thing. Another one you can get it, believe, through the Indiegogo store. And I'm not gonna lie, I pretty much backed it just because of this one splash page right here. Yeah, I mean, it's really surprising to me that Antonio is, a relative amateur compared to some of the other people that have joined this Comicsgate thing. Obviously, he's a really, really good artist, but it's really surprising to me that I've kind of never heard of him before. So hopefully we'll be hearing more of him in the future just because of how it looks. But yeah, even though it did okay, $50,000, that doesn't mean it can't do better. So, like I said, there's a lot of projects out there. And if I find more, I'll try to update this. But for right now, these are definitely ones that you should think about going, especially Sporkman, which I feel like in a lot of ways, Sporkman is the kind of thing that Comicsgate was about from the start. But yeah. So tell me what you think. Tell me if you're going to back any of these. Tell me if this video convinced you or whatever. Tell me if there's any I'm missing. Tell me which ones I should have covered. In any case, this is Unranked Chevron signing off.